Hello, my name is Tony Taylor. I'm a student at the University of Hertfordshire and my student ID is 240-92518. I'm currently studying the Strategic Management module as part of the Global Executive MBA degree with a specialisation in Artificial Intelligence. Today I'll be providing a summary of an industry and internal analysis I conducted on Discover Global Network, which is one of the strategic business units of Capital One Financial Corporation. Discover Global Network operates in the payment networks industry and analysis has been performed across all global geographies. My goal is to highlight critical threats, opportunity, weaknesses and strengths, considering Capital One's recent acquisition of Discover Financial Services in the US, using well-established frameworks, models and theories across academic literature and secondary research. To conduct the industry analysis, I've used Porter's Five Forces Model 2008 as per Dobbs 2014's framework and guidelines. Analysing the threat of competitive rivalry in the payment networks industry highlights the overall threat level as middle of the road. If you look at existing competitors in the industry, there are only a handful who hold a significant amount of market share. Capral 2025 states the key players as China UnionPay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express and Discover, who collectively hold 99.5% of the market share globally if you go by card circulation volumes. Capacity expansion is not a relevant driving factor worth considering and has not been included in the analysis. Switching costs are deemed relatively high depending on the size of the issuing bank looking to make the switch, how many payment cards they have in circulation, which will need to be reissued, and the extent of IT upgrade costs required to align to new payment network rules. These driving factors reduce the threat level. However, things start to get interesting when you look at projected industry growth figures and product differentiation, which have the opposite effect. A recent report published in 2025 from the PCMI illustrates the global transaction volumes and the use of credit, debit and prepaid cards are projected to decrease by an average of 6% by 2030 across online e-commerce and physical point of sale channels. Product differentiation is low, with the payment networks offering the same services to authorize and settle transactions in real time, reduce fraud rates and minimize payment friction, essentially doing the same thing they have been doing for the past 4 decades. Now let's talk about the threat of buyers. There is not a lot happening in this part of the model. As you'll see in the illustration provided by ByteByteGo 2025, the primary buyers are issuing and acquiring banks. Amongst the closed-loop payment networks, i.e. American Express and Discover, the acquiring banks, issuing banks and networks operate under the same corporation but as separate strategic business units. Therefore, a lot of the threat levels for the driving factors in this category are significantly reduced due to the high level of backwards integration that has already occurred in the industry. Payment networks are the technology powerhouses in the payments ecosystem. Suppliers in this industry provide two things: technology and people. There are plenty of suppliers offering the same technological capabilities, knowledge and expertise. A good example is Amazon Web Services, or AWS. They operate across numerous industry sectors and have relatively high profit margins. The only cause for concern would be the switching costs as a driving factor. IT costs for a payment network to switch to a different technology vendor could easily run into the tens of millions, and offshore technology teams tend to accrue a lot of business knowledge over the years of working together, which is hard to replace overnight. Thinking about entering into the payment networks industry? Forget about it. The top 5 players have dominated the industry since the 1980s. They've cornered the market through supply-side economies of scale, demand-side benefits of scale, such as cardholder reward schemes, well-established global distribution channels, and high brand loyalty from buyers. Even if a prospective new entrant had the capital to invest in the infrastructure, expertise, marketing and distribution, it would take years, if not decades, to gain credibility from the regulators. Finally, we have the threat of substitutions, where the threat level is high against the majority of driving factors. In an article published in 2023 by the UK's Federation of Small Businesses, their market research indicates that businesses are achieving a 30% increase in online sales conversion rates by offering a range of alternative payment methods, or APMs. Compared to traditional card payments, APM solutions offer reduced transaction fees to merchants as they eliminate the need for intermediaries in the payments ecosystem, such as payment networks. Some good examples of these are buy now, pay later and account-to-account payment solutions. Both negate the need for issuing banks and payment networks and provide an easy integration method for merchants to switch across to. To conclude, these substitutes present themselves as both a distinctive threat and opportunity. If merchants and consumers end up favouring the use of APMs over traditional card payments, this could potentially make card payments and the payment networks they rely on obsolete in the future. However, the closed-loop payment networks are in a good position to evolve their product and service offering to provide APM solutions such as account-to-account payments, because they have the banking business units in the wider organisation to seize this opportunity. So rather than lose out on these lucrative revenue streams, the issuing bank strategy could be adapted. To conduct the internal analysis, I've used Porter's Value Chain Model 1985 as per Diefenbacher's 2024 step-by-step guide. Starting with the primary activities, with regards to inbound logistics, the Discover Global Network provides secure, reliable and scalable infrastructure enabling real-time orchestration, processing, storage and maintenance of financial data. There is also potential to consolidate or slim down the number of external payment processes they use to maximize synergies with other strategic business units. A recent payments article details acquisitions happening in this industry too. For operations, Fusion Media 2025 states that Capital One has an industry-leading fraud detection and risk management algorithms to maintain customer trust and confidence, adhere to legal requirements and comply with local regulations. In a recent post-merger announcement from Capital One 2025, they confirmed that Capital One will inherit Discover branded payment cards as a new product line in the wider portfolio, therefore eliminating the need for Discover's card manufacturing capabilities. Capital One's cafes and travel lodges offer a superior customer experience for flagship products and services, a cornerstone for the organisation's outbound logistics. There may also be an opportunity for cost savings by reducing or combining Capital One's all-point ATM network in favour of utilising Discover's Pulse ATM network, which has a lot more coverage and global reach. Capital One is not shy when it comes to marketing and sales. They invest heavily in brand awareness and exposure through event sponsorship, regular TV advertising in key markets and promotional reward programs. However, in the run-up to the merger and acquisition, there has been much debate about what Capital One would do about their subprime market segment, i.e. customers who have limited credit history or a risky credit score. Morris 2025 argues that the organisation should look to significantly reduce the promotion of their subprime card portfolio so they can reduce their exposure to defaulted payments and or charge-offs in the case of an economic downturn. Now the combined company has 30% market share of the subprime market segment in the US. The responsibility weighs heavy and it will be an interesting aspect of their strategies to keep an eye on. Since the merger and acquisition, Discover Bank has been absorbed into Capital One Bank. This brings together two top players in J.D. Power's US Credit Card Satisfaction Study 2024, allowing consumers to benefit from the winning recipe from both second and third ranked organisations. Finally, let's look at the support activities. As part of the merger and acquisition announcement by Capital One, it was confirmed that 3 members of Discover's board of directors will transition across to Capital One's board, all of whom are extremely well connected in the industry, and it puts the organisation in a good position to maintain regulatory compliance. There is no evidence to confirm cost savings on restructuring leadership and middle management yet, but this must be something under review. Capital One has had numerous Great Place to Work awards over the years, recently being certified in the UK in 2024. This helps attract and retain talent across the organisation. Also, the jury is out whether the combined organisation will retain both HR functions in light of the merger, another one to keep an eye on, but it could present another cost saving. Fusion Media 2025 describes Capital One as pioneers in the data analytics and technology space, arguing that this key capability will allow them to compete more aggressively and provide world-class customer experiences. AWS 2025 also showcases Capital One as a well-established long-term partner who works together to drive innovation. In summary, If you combine Capital One's advanced data analytics and technology capabilities with Discover's secure, reliable and scalable payments infrastructure, this presents a temporary competitive advantage. They'll need to closely observe the competitors, as any innovations could easily be copied by other players in the payment networks industry. During the integration of Discover into Capital One, the organisation should be careful not to lose their top talent. Although the organisation is making significant investment to upskill the workforce, with regular engagement from senior leadership to address concerns, it's still a mitigated disadvantage they should manage carefully. These are the references for further reading, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video presentation.